Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to the temple, and everyone is special, so everyone is especially welcome. But I want to also especially welcome the group that is here from the Jewish Family and Career Services. We're so happy you're here. We all admire the wonderful and important work that you do to make our community better and our city better and our world better. So thank you for all you do, and it's wonderful to have you here. We begin our service as we're going to sing Hinei Matov, how good and how pleasant it is to be here together. You can find the words on page 10.
Hinei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. We'll sing that again. Hinei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. First me, then you. How good it is. How sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Last time, hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
We turn to page 2 for the blessing for the candles and the fruit of the vine. I would like to invite Susan and Ray Allen to lead us in the blessing, please, on page 2. You light the candles and you say the blessing, you should know that.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlich ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
I think.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And we have with us Ben and hopefully his family to lead us with the blessing over the fruit of the vine. Please, Ben. Ben will become a bar mitzvah tomorrow morning. Or am I mistaken? Yeah, you are having a bar mitzvah tomorrow morning. Okay. Go for it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tivanu v'harta v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon hin ha'olanu. Zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom, tehila l'mikra'e kodesh, zeher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'harta, ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hin haltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mechadesh ha'shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.
And we turn now to page 24 to welcome the angels of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem.
So growing up, I would hear this story right before singing Shalom Aleichem, that there was an angel sitting on your right side, an angel sitting on your left side as you would walk to shul. And why were there these angels? Well, because it was dark outside. And so we needed extra protection. But these angels would make a little bet with each other. And so the good angel would say to the not so good angel, well, when we get home from shul tonight, if the house is warm and aglow with Shabbat dinner and everybody is singing along and it's happy, then we'll say, may the next Shabbat be as this one. And so the bad angel would begrudgingly agree. And then the bad angel would say, well, if we get home and, well, things are just in a disarray, and it's not that welcoming Shabbatistic feeling, and people are arguing with each other, and well, then I'm going to make the blessing, may the next Shabbat be as this one. And I think this is the reminder that, well, we're not always going to be as like the perfect angel, right? But even among the mess, and we're still in boxes, so even among the boxes and all of the children, there glows that Shabbat love, that we can just be a little bit more of our best selves. And may each Shabbat be like that. Be a little bit more of our highest good. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, V'melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu.
And we rise as we turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu.
Oops, wrong key. Let's try that one again. these next words we'll find on page 30, Ma'ariv Aravim. And the Hebrew is going to repeat, and there is some English that is fairly close to the translation on page 30. So we'll learn this together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. Try with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam. Melech haolam Asher bidbaro Ma'ariv Aravim B'chokhma Pateach She'arim. Let's try that all together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam Asher bidbaro Ma'ariv Aravim B'chokhma Pateach She'arim. God of creation, who makes the evening fall from light into darkness with the setting of the sun. You unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars and wrap our souls with peace. Here comes your part. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam Asher bidbaro Ma'ariv Aravim B'chokhma Pateach She'arim. Baruch atah Adonai Ma'ariv Aravim.
And we turn to page 34 for the calling of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
So, I'm not sure if everybody knows, but our two Ve'ahaftas that we sing together were actually written by very good friends and contemporaries and colleagues of each other. I see Ellen Shaken nodding her head, Debbie Friedman, and Julia Silver. And I can't think of one without the other. We're going to sing Julie Silver's version tonight, only because yesterday I saw a posting of her singing this on Facebook, and I said to myself, oh, this is a nice setting. And what she does, it's a little different than what Debbie does, which I love in this setting, is that we hear these words twice. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. That this refrain, this central commandment to always be reminded that God is present, that we should be acting as best as we can in the world, was so important to Julie Silver that this became her refrain, that it might be imprinted on our minds as we sing it. Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write them on the doorpost of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise, and when you rise.
We turn to page 41 to read together. Please join me. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to live no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ledar b'kodesh. That repeats on page 40. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ledar b'kodesh. No Ba'elim Adonai.
We turn to page 43 for Let There Be Love.
So we move from this idea of freedom, and we enter Bamidbar, the wilderness, and all of a sudden we're afraid and we're not sure where we're going. And so here we have Hashkivenu, our nighttime prayer, that God always surround us with the Sukkot Shalom, with God's wings, God's shelter of peace. Let there be love and understanding among us. May it be so. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Lishalom. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Lishalom. Vehamidenu, Shomrenu Lechayim, Ufrosalenu, Sukkot Shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Lishalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
And we read together at the bottom of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch Ata Adonai, hapores Sukkot Shalom, עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
We turn to page 44. Yismechu v'malachutecha, that we should be celebrating as a delight these 24 hours, 25 hours of sacred time. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. Mikadosh shvi Shabbat, kulam yisbehu v'yitangmu b'tuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat. We sing Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat. Bekore, Oleg Shabbat, Lechu, Lemalechutecha, Shomerei, 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 Shabbat Bekore, Oleg Shabbat, Zecher, 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 Lema'aseh Bereshit Shabbat, Zecher Lema'aseh Bereshit Shabbat, Yismechu Lemalechutecha, Shomerei, 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 Shabbat Bekore, Oleg Shabbat, Yismechu Lemalechutecha, Shomerei, 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 Shabbat Bekore, Oleg Shabbat.
We rise as we turn to page 46 for the tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei ha'kol atah, Rav le'hoshia. And now it's officially after Simchat Torah, so we can sing together, pray together the winter words. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayim emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atal hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Page 52. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated as we turn to page 61 for the prayer for shalom, the prayer for peace and wellness and allness. We read together, grant us peace, your most precious gift, or eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom.
Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atah hu melech adon, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael, v'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We turn now to page 253 for the Misha Berach, the prayer for courage and strength and healing in our lives, in the lives of everyone that is dear to us. We name in our heart everyone we know that needs healing and courage and strength as we join together singing Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu B'kol HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Our Torah portion is called Bereshit, which means in the beginning, and we are starting in the beginning, from the beginning. Just last week, we read the end of Deuteronomy on Simchat Torah, and we rolled the entire book from the end to the beginning, and we are starting again. Now, normally, we don't do such things. You don't finish a book that has 5 books in it, and then you start immediately from the beginning. But the Torah is different. The Torah is who we are. The Torah carries the essence of who we are, the stories that make us what we are. The Torah is where you can connect not only to Jewish tradition, not only to the generation of the past, but you can also connect to words that some of us believe were inspired by the divine. So it's in its best, when you read from the Torah, you connect not only to the message of the Torah, you connect to other human beings of generation past, present, and future, and you connect to the divine. The rabbis are saying on that 2 statements. Well, they're saying many statements, but I just quote 2 of them. One is, it's not the same when you read the Torah the 101th time as it was when you read it the 100th time. Meaning, it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 101. You could be reading the Torah already 101 times from the beginning to the end, and each time it will be different. It's not going to be the same Torah because you're different and you're going to read it differently. And the other thing that the rabbis are saying is that reading the Torah is like taking a huge hammer and hammering on a huge rock. And when you do that, at least according to the rabbis, I never tried doing that, you see lots of pieces of fire that are all around you. And this is the experience because you can take from the Torah so much meaning, so many different meanings. And we go to the beginning now, and we read not only about how the world was created, we also read how humanity was created. And here's a lesson that thousands of years after it was written, doesn't seem that we're still getting it. According to the Torah, and since the Torah, I think, kind of suspected that it would be hard for us to understand, then it repeats it twice. Once in chapter 1 and then again in chapter 5. And it says, this is how God created humanity. God created humanity in the image of God, in God's likeness. Male and female, God created them. And then God called them Adam. And in chapter 5 it repeats and it says, that's the scroll or the book of the history of humanity. God created them in God's likeness. Male and female, God created them. So when God created humanity, God created a creature that God called Adam, and that creature was both male and female. And then in chapter 5, when the story continues, it says that when Adam, which means the male and the female that were created together, had their firstborn, that firstborn was in the image and likeness of Adam, of humanity, which means they were not only in the image and likeness of humanity, they were in the image of likeness and God. So what is the lesson of all that? The lesson is that God created all of us equal, all of us in the image of God. And it doesn't matter what's the color of your skin or what's your race or what's your ethnicity or what's your nationality or religion or what's your gender, because God created male and female together. We're all in the image of God. We're all are in God's likeness. And when we have children, they are in our image and likeness, meaning they're carrying the image of God in them. And the rabbis later on, thousands of years later, in the Mishnah, when they're talking about people who stand to trial, they say you have to remember when you look at a human being that no human being can say to another human being, my parent is greater than your parent, because all of us come from the first parent. And no human being can say, I am better than you, because the greatness of God, according to the rabbis, this time not to the Torah, but based on our Torah, that unlike human beings, that when we create coins, I don't even know the words in English for that, when we manufacture coins, they all look the same. But when God created us, every human being is like a coin, equal in value, because we all have the image of God in us, and equal in the likeness to God, but still each one of us is unique. And if you diminish a human being, if you hurt a human being, you're hurting the image of God and the presence of God in our world. And all of that is just from one chapter in the Torah. There are 54 Torah portions. There are hundreds of chapters in the Torah, and all those lessons are waiting for us as we start rolling the Torah in the other direction, reading portion after portion, and reading it maybe in the first time, maybe in the 50th, I'm not looking at anyone specifically, at the 50th time, depending on your age, and taking from it to your life and to the essence of who you are. So it's always so much hope when we roll the Torah to the beginning and we start reading it anew. Shabbat Shalom.
Rabbi, you gave me the perfect segue for our anthem, not only because it's called Begin Again, but because the first phrase says we begin in hope. And this was commissioned for the 92nd Street, by the 92nd Street Y, in honor of last year's Rosh Hashanah 5782. And there's an Amen refrain that we'll learn together, and you'll catch on if you want to repeat the English after me, or just let the melody wash over you in this blessing for a new year, filled with hope, filled with faith, and filled with all of our divine gifts. Amen. 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 We begin again. Amen. 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 We begin again. We begin in hope. We begin with believing. We begin with our hearts staying open to all of the gifts we're receiving. We begin with faith. We begin with returning. We begin with our minds broken open to lessons we'll never stop learning. We begin again. Amen. 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 We begin again. We begin in strength. We begin seeking justice. We begin with our arms stretching open to welcome the weary among us. Begin again. Begin again. May the sweetness of this new year never end. Begin again. Begin again. May we never take for granted where we've been. We begin again. Amen. 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 We begin again. We begin in truth. We begin with forgiveness. We begin with our eyes focused open to notice the sacred within us. Begin again. Begin again. May the sweetness of this new year never end. Begin again. Begin again. May we never take for granted where we've been. We begin again. Amen. Amen. Amen.
rise as we turn to page 283 for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula liotzer bereshit, shehu sam chelkenu le'ached et shemo, v'gor aleinu lehamlich malachuto. Ma'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo,
Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember especially Dr. Stanley Frager, Jose Maza, Harry Klein, Edna Ayman Schuster, Ruth Zucker, Jacob Morris Bliden, Henry Frank, Stephen Goodman, Doreen Myers, Ronald Sternberg, Samuel S. Turk, Miriam Davidson, Irving Ehrman, Mary Rudd, Anton Drydell, Ruth Gelfenbein, Rebecca Kahn-Rubin, Martin Kasten, Peggy Lipton, Cindy Morgan, Phyllis Segal, Walter Ziegler, Maurice Foreman, Eugene Frank, Armand Goldstein, Martha Gordon, Josephine Rosenfeld, Anna Mash-Bass, Dorothy Collins, Richard Dorsbach, Lillian Jacobs, Frederick Jacobs, Max D. Jacobs, Hilda Myers, Joel Richardson, Kate Simon, Sandra Gitchell, Ray Bloom, and in recent days, Jeanette Pradden, Richard Cohen, Dr. Ivan Marks. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. With the blessed memories of our loved ones in our hearts, we rise as we turn to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה. May the memory of our loved ones come to be a blessing and a benediction to us all. Amen. Our closing song is Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Please say Shabbat Shalom to someone you have not met before, and please join us to the oneg for some baked goods. Shabbat Shalom.